Welcome to the next instalment of The Challenger. You'll remember that Ben is experimenting with removing his lenses, and in the last episode he spoke to a so-called beast on the street, and now he's just on his way to work after saying goodbye. As I approached my workstation, two messages appeared on the display. The first was from Entertainment. Happy Thursday, everyone! A reminder that we are hosting the Politics Face-Off in store this weekend. Getting the show here is a massive achievement and our sales figures are about to go crazy. We aim to become the most popular dwellings in the whole of London, which we think is achievable given our proximity to the tech and fintech industries. Ensure your uniform is clean and be extra friendly to customers. Hope you too enjoy the competition. Entertainment. Ensure your uniform is clean. I dragged my fingers across my chest. Didn't Entertainment know the nanotextile dissolved any dirt in seconds on its own? How are these people getting jobs? The other message was a response from Visual Merchandising. The whole store will be closed for rebuilding between 22 hours on Friday and 6 a.m. on Saturday ahead of the politics show, which will kick off at 10 a.m. All staff must vacate the building by 22 hours on Friday. Take personal belongings home after work, as items always go missing during rebuild. A 3D map will open when you've finished reading this for you to see your store's new location. VM. An upright ovular structure sprang up on the desk, a dim light pulsating near the top of the southeastern section on level 55. This was where Wise Words would be situated. 10 years after the arrival of dwellings branches across Megacity, the total transformations of these cities within cities still astonished citizens. On Friday evening, the VM team would rearrange the numerous blocks of the store between different levels and building faces, and by next morning a new monolithic structure would invade the sky, far taller than the current oblong sprawl. From the map, it was obvious this rebuild would be dramatic. The bioparks would be stuffed indoors for a short while, the zip track would be directed to level 0, Wise Words would be sandwiched between a social networking bar and a relax zone. The Blended Lenses store, now on level 10, would be just around the corner from me. Restaurants and anti-aging clinics would be further down, while nightclubs would stay in the basement levels, to be joined by top-end fashion boutiques with their new fabrics our home devices couldn't compile yet. Where's your politics section? I jumped. A teenage girl was staring past me. She could have been an adult who'd started anti-aging early, but her easy posture screamed natural youth. Either way, it had been weeks since anyone young had been in. Like Ella said, young people were a fading demographic. If you went partying at night, citizens aged 16 to 50 ruled the world. Not in the streets and stores that were lit by day, though. The politics and celebrity section was an exhibition of glossy publications, mainly magazines with interactive page displays. I led the girl halfway in, past the propaganda of the Transhumanist Party, whose members had been the poster girls and boys for much of Megacity's history, helping to get public buy-in for the tech and medical revolutions that made us who we were. Now the classical parties were enjoying a spell of popularity. On the right, everything revolved around Noah Black of the born-again Conservatives. Some covers were close-ups of Black, celebrating his stubble, cheekbones and radiant teeth, while others sported his optimized lean body mass. The girl was focusing on the left, where blonde Prime Minister Linda Bennings flaunted her curves in tight outfits for Labour of Love. Have you got your money on her? I asked. The girl flinched, startled by actual conversation. Seconds went by. Yes, you? She got out. I'd need to ask the guys who write the script. I quickly regretted saying that. The girl stepped away to shut me out of her life forever and refocused on Linda. I left her to shop, and a few minutes later she was striding out with a pile of magazines and a bag stuffed with Bennings merchandise, the face wreck okaying her buys. Bye, I said aloud to myself. In the last 10 minutes of my shift, I was desperate for something to do, so I guiltily removed my lenses again, then my earpieces. Nothing happened as far as the sadness was concerned. Even my loneliness had diminished. I scanned the shelves for rubbish, anything. The art human cleaners hadn't missed a thing. I was about to reinsert my lenses when I saw something. Rising up out of nowhere, Lan's face hung in the space in front of me. His eyes held me. In them, terror and urgency coexisted with strength and a peacefulness. There was sadness, but also happiness. The distance of horizons and the upfront confrontation of intimacy. This was Lan, the man he'd met on the street. I don't deny this was going on in my own head, and I was adding meanings to things, to Lan and our meetings, but I couldn't ignore the power of the image. It was like Lan's gaze had broken through the great social divide and called to me, and I had no choice but to give myself up to the beauty of the moment, my breath the only sound, except for an occasional bleep somewhere in the store. When I got home, I went to the wall opposite my bed. I wanted to be near one of the few family fragments I owned, a scroll of Chinese calligraphy my grandfather wrote for my mother when she was a child. 人法地，地法天，天法道，道法自然. Humanity follows the earth follows the sky follows the way follows nature. It's a quote from an ancient philosopher called Lao Tzu. That's all I know. Everything about Lao Tzu has been deleted, along with most pre-Megacity texts and movies. But it didn't matter to me that these lines were an enigma. The comfort lay in reminiscing about the afternoons when my grandfather opened his box of brushes to teach me calligraphy. His tranquil face as he prepared the utensils, the grind of the ink stick on stone and the nutty smell it made, the calm that filled the room when one of us wrote the first stroke onto a clean sheet. Maybe it's not surprising that I was thinking about my grandfather more than usual since meeting Lan. Both had a connection to Asia, and both stood for everything Megacity didn't. There was Lan's age as well, though I didn't have enough experience of non-citizens to estimate it. Anyway, all these thoughts about Lan and my grandfather that evening had excited me, and I didn't know how I would get to sleep. I was ready to entrust Lan with my most radical thought of all tomorrow, and our chat would no doubt indicate some new direction I could go with my life. I walked over to the wardrobe and pulled out the box containing the source of so much guilt, asking yet again what the real reason was my grandfather left me it. A miracle that the ancient VR headset still played the one game installed on it. I say game, it was really just a virtual walk. Soon I was on the path, climbing the hill I knew every pixel of. Sun, shifting clouds, crashing of a waterfall on my left, my breath slowing. Another 2 minutes, and there it was, just over the brow of the hill, waiting to swallow me up. The forest. That mysterious realm where light danced on leaves, where shadows and endless shades of green allowed me to pretend the great urbanization had not happened yet. This was my bliss. Thank you, and in the next bit you will find out about Ben's most burning question of all about Megacity.